song too. It's the first instrumental I ever did a soul speak to.
You are, yeah, it's you talking.
No, it's not me talking. It's the original instrumental. We're live.
Well, you should tell me when we're live.
Well, I meant to tell you, and I forgot. There's 9 people in the house.
You're such an asshole sometimes.
We're live. You can't be talking that way. People are going to lose their image of you. You're going to lose your image.
I'm total dag, and you're an asshole sometimes.
I'm not an asshole. When am I an asshole?
When you don't tell me when we're live.
Well, you know.
Remember that time that you didn't tell me and I was like checking my teeth, picking my teeth?
I know. Well, you got to be raw and real. God, what is going on, man? Wow. So we'll give it a minute. God, what is going on here? My notifications are going crazy. Can you hear that? I don't think you can hear it.
No, it sounds dreadful.
No, I don't mean
it's like it's all distorted.
It's not distorted. That is not distorted. It is distorted? I think it's your headphones. I need to get some new headphones. Hello, everybody. Oh, it's 45 people here. We can go ahead. I thought it was going to take a little longer than that. All right. Let me fade the music out like a pro. Okay. All right. Let's see what we got here. Let me pull up the comments. I pull up the show. God, there's 56 people here. And that's on the screen. It usually takes a lot longer than that. Let's see here. God, that's that sound. Do you hear that sound? I mean, this is insane. You don't hear that sound? The notification sound? Good. It's just a distraction for me. Okay, so here we go. We got 58 people in the house. We got Heather Grace Powers is here. I was listening to some of her music today. It's incredible. Gwen Jones, Janie Hodges. Janie Hodges says when she gets married, she wants the vet to marry her.
Oh, Kathy my Mason. God. No one should marry anyone but Savetta. She was freaking just magical. Mm-hmm.
Katarina Delmore, Linda Caraway's here. Rosie Neal. Kamara Ford's here. Milana, aloha. Linda got the notification at 3:33. Beth Bushlosh. Nora Bouvier, my friend up in upstate New York. Michael Kilmer. Gwen Jones, Lily Howard, Kelly Hemmer. So Aline's in the house from Norway. Kelly's from Andover. Pia Holland, Allison Ingle. Yeah, pretty good crowd. Kirsty Belleville.
I've just been talking to Kirsty.
Kirsty or Kirsty? I thought it was Kirsty.
Kirsty. Sorry, I'm going to
Caroline
Kirsty's
Goodman, Sarah Adams.
Party tomorrow night.
Oh, you have a party? Kirsty? Belleville?
No. My friend Kirsty.
Oh, I thought you said Kirsty Belleville. Mike Capo. So we got 67 people in the house. Shane Uloff. So, okay. So
Let me do this.
I was going to say, I went ahead and arrange it, so you better be careful. Okay, so
what did you go through in the last couple of weeks, Todd Medina?
Why is it always about me?
You like it being about you.
No, I don't. Do I have to talk about this?
You don't have to do anything.
We can ease into it all. I didn't know we were going to do this. Are we going to do this? I thought we were going to do like just a general update.
We can do whatever you want.
Well, no, you go ahead and lead the way. I trust you.
So what have you been through in the last couple of weeks, Mr. Medina?
Like, where do you want me to start now? This isn't about me. It's about the collective. I mean, whatever I've gone through, I'm just a representation.
Okay, if that makes you feel better, you can put it that way.
What? Okay, we're going to talk about sacred sex. Is that what we're going to talk about? Is that what you're referring to?
No, I'm not. I'm referring to what the divine masculine, what the masculine energy went through, what you went through, which is about the collective. But when you focus on the collective, you actually distract yourself from yourself. What did you go through in the last couple of weeks regarding the divine masculine transformation? the alignment. What did you do?
What did I do?
Yeah.
The whole time we were together for 90 days, I was going through it. But then what? Something changed. What?
21st of February.
21st of February. Yeah. There was an eclipse, right? I don't have a memory, but can you remind me? Give me a hint.
Well, it was so huge that we actually booked Miguel and Michael to come on the 8th of March to actually talk about what the divine masculine is currently doing.
Yeah, we booked Michael Van Patten and Miguel Dean to come on tomorrow. And okay, we'll get back to what you're saying. Yeah. Okay, I'm with you. So we booked that, and then Kamara Ford, our sister in Florida, she sent us a note. She had put something together 2 years ago. Tomorrow is International Women's Day. Or we could just rename it International Divine Feminine Day. And she sent me this note, and she was like, "You know what? It's time." It wasn't the right time when I sent this post out 2 years ago. And now it's the right time. So we're going to put a show together. In addition to Michael and Miguel Dean, we're going to put a show together tomorrow with Kamara Ford. And I'm going to find 3 other Divine Feminines minimum to be on that show, which will be that'll be at 5 p.m. New York City time and about 10 o'clock London. And that'll be 8:30 in the morning in Adelaide. Okay, so getting back to and the point being that I think the reason that her post and declaration, which is on my page, on your page, the reason that wasn't the world wasn't ready for it 2 years ago is because the masculine wasn't ready. That's my take on it. What happened 2 weeks ago? Was it 2 weeks ago? Yeah. Okay. So it was roughly 18 days ago. 2 weeks ago. Yeah. The 21st, 28th, that's 7 days, and it's the 7th. Okay. So 2 weeks ago, with the full moon, was it a full moon or was it eclipse? I don't remember. It was a full moon. Okay. I'll tell you what happened. You want to know what happened? You know me, I'm raw. I'll just say it all. I get in trouble for saying too much, right? I won't do that. Yeah, so it's all tied together. Everything's tied together. But yeah, the masculine started rising. No pun intended. He started rising, and you even went into this period of 3 days where you're like a little girl around me. Like, who's this guy I'm with now? But I think it was definitely not me. It's the masculine energy, and I think what it is the masculine energy. Actually, it's a lot of things. It's getting in touch with. You're gonna have to help me out here. Getting in touch with having feelings, and actually, whether they be anger or sadness or whatever those feelings are, and actually owning those feelings and allowing those feelings. We talked about this on a previous show. But in terms of the dance, right? The dance, and we're a reflection of that energy, you and I. We've talked about it before. I mean, got stripped down to nothing, and literally, getting in touch with his softness, as opposed to being attached to his hardness. Is that better? You feel better now? So, and that actually plays out in everything. It plays out into every aspect in just interacting and in the bedroom, in the kitchen, in the bathroom, wherever, everywhere. Yeah. Because there's no way that she could move up. All right. There's no way she could further expand until he met her where she was at. And we all know that she's been expanding and owning her space since 2015, to my recollection. which incidentally was the one we met. So, well, you know, you're going to say something? You're going to. So, yeah, it's, you know, the masculine's gone through some stuff and is going through some stuff. And I think it, you know, really revolves around just really digging deep and talking about the things that he thought made him a man, and they didn't. In fact, the softness actually brings out that masculine energy and that's where you find the real divine man, is in that softness, when he can actually lay down his arms and lay down his mask, lay down his masculinity, lay down his force, the false force that he had, lay down his loud voice, you know, lay down his stature, because the body of a man is harder than a woman. A woman's soft, you know, a man's bigger than a woman. And actually bow down, not in a subservient way, but bow down. You know, there's no exception. So to actually accept her as equal, you know, that's a start. I'll hand it over to you, and then you can throw it back to me. Or you can ask me a question, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I know. So we separated, what is it, about 5 days ago?
We separated on the 3rd.
I don't know what the date is today. I think it's about
Well, we have 2 different
7th.
days. Today's Thursday here, I think it is, and we separated on Sunday. Today is, today's Thursday the 7th. Yeah, 5 days ago. Good memory.
So what's the last 5 days been like for you?
Pure fucking hell, man. No, it's been kind of rough. Well, you know, it's interesting because I know we do everything, we embody everything. We do everything consciously, you and I, right? And in some way, that's our contribution to anchoring the energies onto the earth, the changes onto the earth, and the truth onto the earth. And so it's really strange because for 5 days, and I thought today I was off the hook, but for 5 days, I've had the same thing occur, which is I've had incredible, intense, lucid dreams, which we used to call, you know, when we go to sleep. I know for years I would feel like, oh my God, I was active in the ethers and that type of thing, and my body would be sore and all that. But these lucid dreams, the last 5 days, were really incredible because they had a storyline to them. You were with me the entire time. The masculine and the feminine were working together. We were like going all these places, meeting with all these people, getting all these things done constructively. And then every morning I would get up and purge. And I thought I was not going to purge today, but I purged in between the time we were talking.
What do you mean by purge? What does purging look like for you?
I mean, well, sometimes I've been lucky. Sometimes I've been lucky enough to do purging in my lucid dreams. But this time it's been different because I didn't do any purging in the lucid dreams, but I purged physically, which meant I vomited. And so we were talking like an hour, no, less than an hour ago. I'm like, okay, let's do this. And yeah, I just felt like, you know, like this thing, this energy in my solar, and it had to come out for like the 5th day in a row. I think there's some type of expulsion happening for the masculine so that container can be filled, you know, with the purity of it, the purity of the masculine. And I would say too, in talking to Kamara today about the post that she reposted today, I told her the war is over. The war's over. There is no war, you know? Yeah. And she had something to say too about the masculine, that the memories of the conflict of the energies is being erased. I don't know if that's the right word, but being put in the proper perspective. I feel like what's happening is not just a masculine thing, but I feel like what's happening is we're letting go of the human part of us that's not really accurate or real, the distorted part of us, and we're taking the human part of us that is real, the divine human. I think that's what's happening. What do you think?
I'm wondering, like, I mean, so many of us, especially you and I, and there is only you and I, really, you know, I try to distance myself from the collective because I find that a distraction. But we went through some massive shifts. It's like, you know, from the 1st of January, it's been, I can't even think of the words, it's been intense. What is the major thing that you experienced, like in the last 3 months, since the 1st of January? What would you say has been your major memory transformation, whatever you would call it?
Well, that's like really a colossal question because it has like this multidimensional answer, and it affects my physical body. It affects whatever you want to call it, my soul or whatever is contained within the physical body. It's had physical ramifications, not really mental, well, a little bit of mental, and not really much emotional. It's also included simultaneously non-physical communion, apparitions, messages, and that type of thing, both individually and jointly with you. But I think the biggest thing has been, and I know I've said it before, but it's gone deeper, and we know everything goes deeper. Are we going to talk about this? So anyway, yeah, it's like, yeah, I'm going to say it. You know, I'm going to go deeper though than what we've talked about before. So the masculine, which is primarily the physical male incarnation, right? Primarily, it's not always that way. We know that. Is that he has to lose his attachment to more than performance, you know, at work, performance in the bedroom, expectations he took on, you know, as far as society says a man's got to do this, got to do that. He had to lose more than that. And it actually, in my case, has gone into the physical. So there was times that we talked about it before. We can be intimate holding hands. We can be intimate, you know, and it looks like 3D sexual intimacy. But, you know, I could not break through until when we were together, you know, like intimacy. I could not break through until I absolutely didn't care. I didn't care. I didn't care if, oh God, can we talk about this? Can we talk about this? I don't want to get in trouble for saying too much. Okay. So all right. So this is Soulogy. All right. So I could not break through, and part of that was represented by intimacy. I could not break through until I let go of whether I pleased her, whether she was pleased, whether I got an erection, whether like my mind had to turn off. My mind absolutely had to turn off. And it was a gradual thing, right? You know what I mean? It was a gradual thing. Like I'd have this much progress one night, this much progress the next night. And it's not always the night. It's during the day, the interaction during the day. But I'll tell you what happened, which I think really sums up how it ended. And that is 2 nights before you left. So we are in our first home ever, right? We're in our first home ever. And this, this beautiful place that I'm sitting in has this bed that's a queen size mattress with 2 twin mattresses, right? So you're on one side, I'm on the other side, and we start coming together, and the damn thing keeps splitting apart, you know, and it's funny and everything. But we were going to be separated And so we were very, we were feeling that and wanting to connect, and things started to get like kind of hot. And I was shut down. And I was, and it was not just a physical experience. It was a multidimensional experience like we usually have. But
Oh, he's frozen. I don't know how to do this because I don't do this very often, but hopefully he'll come back on and in a sec. It's good. It's good that he's being this open. Come on, Todd, come back. And I can't see any comments because I don't have comments on here. I don't know why we're having this discussion. He had another live booked and it got cancelled for great reasons, and any cancelled shows are always great reasons, and we have no attachment to that. He's really focused on getting as many shows done as possible at the moment, so I put up my hand. We haven't seen each other for 5 days. It was really sad leaving each other, and yet we're both okay too being apart. Our preference is that we would be together, but we're both okay being apart. Todd Medina, you better come back on in a second because I'm going to have to hang up because I don't know how to talk non-stop to a phone. I can't see any messages from him. I can't see anything, actually. I can only see a black screen. We felt like the Divine Masculine has been through a huge transformation, especially from the beginning of this year. We felt like, the feminine had done as much as she could, and it was time for him to step up and do the transformation that he needed to do. And when that happened, that she would be able to take another step again. But she was waiting for him, I think. Todd and I are finding very much now that we're at this place where, I step up and he's got to come and meet and join me. Or he steps up and I've got to come and meet and join him. And it's mostly the feminine does it first, and that's just how it's been. It's not that one's better than the other. Every time that I step up, then he meets me. And the moment he meets me, then I'm allowed to go to, the next thing that we're meant to do. I'm going to give up in a minute unless he comes back. I can't see any messages from him. I don't know how to talk to nothing. I know that, it says that there's 90 viewers there. I can't see anything. I can't see any messages. Todd Medina, come back. What else is going on? I cried for a whole day, 2 days before I left him, which was actually really good, and I tend to do my emotions and that clearing before the event. So we got to the airport and I was fine. I don't like that I've had to come away from him, but I was fine. I wasn't emotional or anything. And he was more emotional. I did my emotions first and then his came, and then I hopped on the plane. I was fine the night before, and the morning of the, going to the airport or whatever, he went through his emotions then. Oh my God, you're back. Thank goodness for that, I think. You're still frozen. Are you there, Todd?
can you hear me?
Oh my God, yes. Don't do that to me. I can't talk
the
to.
the Ethernet went out, so I'm going to try it back. I might have to go back off in a second.
No.
Why am I hearing my voice? This is trippy. Hello, hello, hello. Okay. So what were you talking about? I was almost done. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Oh, damn. Okay, so he is going to come back. We know we're not meant to be apart, but we also understand that this time that we're having apart for the next 90 days is imperative also. It's something that's happened this trip that's been very, very different from the others, is that both of us can actually feel each other. We know that we're separated by, 12 or 13,000 kilometres. I don't know what that is in miles. But we could feel each other. I could feel him on the plane the whole way home. I can feel him with me, and he can feel me with him, and it's really quite odd. So this might be a damn, Todd, come back. This might be like a 90-day period where we actually get used to permanently feeling the other next to the other. Like I can feel him with me here in this moment. He's spoken about doing writings that he's never written before that look like I've written it. So, he'll ring me up and say, I've just written this. It wasn't me, it was you. We can actually feel each other side by side, even though we're 12,500 kilometres away. I think, no, that's America. I don't know what Hawaii is. Todd, you need to come back. I don't know how to talk to nothing. I don't mean that like that. I know that there's people there, but for me, I can just see a black screen. What else? We don't like being apart. We really don't like being apart. But we understand that, everything is perfection as well. If I could see some comments, it might help, but I can't. Maybe I could click something and then I could see comments. Oh, here he is. Come on, Todd.
Okay.
He's back.
I think you need to talk.
No, I have been talking.
I'll tell them what happened at the end. I'm going to see again if it's going to come on.
Can you hear me, Todd?
Yes, I can hear you.
Well, why do I have to talk then? You talk and I'll listen.
All right, because I'm going to try to go back to the Ethernet. For some reason, we have Ethernet, so we shouldn't be losing. So here's the thing, right? So on the second, tell me if you can't hear me. Well, how can you tell me if you can't hear me if you can't hear me? So on the second, 2 nights before we separated, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, so 2 nights before we separated, things are getting hot, man. The mattresses are like pulled apart, and we're in the middle of it, and it's like really beautiful, and and it's kind of looks like 3D, like something's fixing to go down here, right? And something happened. I knew because you asked me what's happened over the last couple of weeks or whatever. Part of it was in my physical, like literally in my physical, like in my genitals. I was feeling almost a painful thing, and I was being told, you're being cleaned out, you're being purified, and all this weird shit, right? So what ended up happening was, can you hear me? I just have to make sure. So what ended up happening was I thought we were about to, what we've all been doing in the old paradigm, and everything changed. And you were in front of me. No, your back was to me, and I was behind you, and I started looking at your back. And you guys know what henna is? So and it's very dark, right? There's like no light in the room. And I look at her back, and there's like this, it looked like a woman's lace on like lingerie, like the print, that's on the part of the lingerie, but it wasn't black. It was like a cream color, and it was all over her back. And not only that was I seeing these patterns, which I would call not sacred geometry. It was like a cross between sacred geometry and light language, and everything was moving. And every now and then I would see a wolf's face or the goddess Kali face, and it was talking to me. And I kept telling Morgan, what the fuck is this? You ought to see this, right? And it went on and on and on, and it became a very beautiful experience. It was incredible. And I know I was receiving information, and I know that. And then we kind of changed positions, and I went to another part of her body, right? And I saw this, I didn't see a vision. This was with my own eyes. So I'm like looking. Are you there?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Do you mind if I talk about this? So I actually saw, I'm like looking at the area of the yoni. Okay. I'm looking at it. I'm not doing nothing. I'm just looking at it. I'm going down. I'm like looking at it, and I'm like, okay. And I see like this red rock, like they have in Sedona, or Ayers rock. Okay. Ayers rock. And it was that type of rock formation. It was a red rock, and there was like this like, okay, so like say you would take a mold of a dome, it would be the outer part. So it was like a cave, like a cavernous thing. And inside of it was like the spirit of these grandmothers and these ancient Akashic grandmothers. That's all I can say. And they were like talking to me. Like I could see like these little people where the yoni was supposed to be. I'm like, what the hell is happening? But they were telling me stuff, right? And I thought, oh my God, I broke through. Like I broke through. So I'm looking at your body. I couldn't see your face. I was like this far from your face. I don't know if y'all can see me. I was like 3, 4, 5, 6 inches from your face. Your face was gone. Your upper, from your breast up, were gone. I'm seeing stars. I'm seeing universes. I'm seeing like different incarnations or aspects of you. They're looking at me. They're like totally off planet. Oh my God, they're blowing me up now. And they're all talking to me, but I can't really understand everything on a human level. But I knew everything was cool, right? The only thing that was strange, you still there?
Yes.
Okay. The only thing that was a little bit strange and off is that I'm behind you at one point. I'm looking at all this cross between a sacred geometry and light language on your back, moving around, telling a story like a moving mosaic. And I look over my shoulder, and we've talked about this. We've had a couple of encounters with these short grays, right? The Zeta Reticuli or whatever, these biological androids or whatever. And I look over to my left, and against the wall, standing on the bed, is this little short ET with this thing on his head. Okay, like this little rectangle thing. It looked like those things you scan at the stores, a barcode or whatever. And I said, "What the fuck are you doing here, man?" And he said, "I'm assisting you. I'm assisting the divine masculine to clear out this stuff, right?" Then that's the performance, the erection, the man, the fake balls, whatever you want to call it. And then he said, "But we're also learning from you guys. We're learning the emotion, the heart from you guys." Yeah. And that's when I was like, "Oh wow, get out of here and we'll resume what we're doing." So that's kind of my story. I'm going to go out and see if I can hook back up to the Ethernet and get the clear signal.
Can you be really fast? Because I don't know how to talk to a black screen.
All right, hang on. Let me see. Keep talking.
But I don't know what to keep talking about. Todd and I committed from the very, very beginning to celibacy with each other. We made that commitment that the 3D sex was never, ever going to be a distraction or a priority in our relationship. In fact, I think we were married for a couple of weeks before we even went there. And we've kept that up. Okay, well, we're married now. But it doesn't mean that we have to do anything. And so we both of us, never ever do anything with each other unless we're instructed to do that. There's been some odd things that happen. We might just be going for a walk and both of us will hear, okay, you two have to go and get naked and do, I think it's called yin yang, sit in front of each other naked. We don't know what's going to happen. We're actually just following brand new instructions. But both of us had to be stripped back of all the old 3D conditioning first up. And both of us feel very much like innocent. We're not young because we're actually quite old now. But we actually feel like young, innocent newbies to this whole exploration with each other. We don't have any attachment to end results or happy endings or anything like that. We actually follow specific instructions. And some of those instructions look like, don't touch any part of her except her back. Don't touch any part of her except her breast. And we follow those instructions to the T, but there's so much sacred wisdom and sacred sexuality. And I know we're not learning, I know we're just remembering, but so much of what we do, which in the old paradigm is not a lot, you know, you hear couples and they say, you know, how many times do you have sex a week? And they'll say 3 or 4 or 5 or 1 or once a month or whatever. We don't even have that. You know, sometimes actually every night when we go to sleep, we lay side by side, palm to palm, and everything starts up. But we're learning, or we're remembering a whole new paradigm, sacred sexual paradigm we're remembering. But that has meant that we've needed to forget and let go of every aspect of the old 3D performance. And I hate those labels because it separates, but we've had to forget everything that we've learned for me, 52 years, and for Todd, 57, and just allow us to have no expectations but to listen in every moment of what we're meant to do. I don't know what else here is. Oh, thank goodness for that.
I'm back on the Ethernet.
You're back.
Old. You know, if I would buy into any of that, you know, the dark Illuminati and all that stuff, this has never happened. I'm on an Ethernet. I'm a direct link to the deal. You know, I mean, so it
well, maybe we're not meant to be talking about this at all.
No, that's not the point. We're supposed to be talking about it. Mm-hmm. And I heard what you were saying. I couldn't be on the screen, but I heard what you're saying. You're right. I was going to go further. You want to go further?
I don't know. What are you going to go further about?
You're going to crack up about it, okay? Because damn, what is going on here? This is crazy. Are you getting me? Are you getting me in?
I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you.
God, this is weird. Okay, so you know what happened was, I think this kind of epitomizes, because, you know, I've been telling you for a year, I want to help the masculine get to where they need to go, right? Mm-hmm. And really, which is really meaning I want to get to where I need to go, right? Yes,
Todd.
So this would have been what? A year ago? This is 2019. You came in 2017, summer. So this would have been the winter, the very, very cold winter, hint, 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 in Connecticut, with a bunch of snow on the ground, in probably January of 2018. And I'm traveling around like a hobo and all that stuff.
Can I just say something before you go there?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So you and I had been talking for, about 18 months by then?
We'd been talking for almost 2 years by then. Yeah.
Right.
This was after you came the first time.
But hang on. But you hadn't even seen my face. I wouldn't even do this on screen with you.
I didn't see your face. We met in September of 2015, September 3rd, 3:33 in the morning. I didn't see you like this until about April the 10th of 2017. So almost a year and a half.
Yeah. So that's what I just said. We didn't even see each other's faces for 18 months. I mean, I saw his on his, on your lives, which I never, ever watched very much of because I was a little bit like,
that's what she said.
Oh, my God. I didn't. I swear in my children's life, I never watched. I would be lucky to see 5 minutes or 2 minutes or something of your lives because I couldn't cope with it.
You don't know what you missed.
So we didn't even actually see each other's faces at all for the first 18 months. And the first time that we did, and I think I only did it because I was going to go and see him in about 4 weeks. We did this, it was face to face, and he started crying, and I'm sitting there horrified thinking, oh my God, he doesn't like me, he thinks I'm old, ugly. He couldn't stop crying, and we just had to hang up, so he could pull himself together for 15 minutes, and then we tried again.
This was about 2 to 3 weeks before you came. You're getting the count. Okay, it's important. It's relevant, but the timeline's a little bit off. So it's about a year and a half. You're going to come for the first time. I'm in Philadelphia, and I'm scared shitless. And again, I think this is all reflective of where the masculine has to go. So I'm scared shitless. And I'm actually staying in a little suburb in New Jersey outside of Philadelphia, which is really rough. And sleeping on the floor at my friend's house and drinking whiskey. And smoking weed and doing these shows every night. And so when you called me, you didn't even tell me. You just called me out of the blue, and I'm hung over, laying on the floor, sleeping. And I look and it says, you know, you want a video, right? I'm like, oh my God. So I click it and I see your face. And I started bawling, crying. I'm like, oh, you know, I got to call you back. I need 5 minutes, right? That's what you're referring to. But I think that's reflective of, you know, the thing is the masculine, and I'm going to say this, right? Because it's not a slight against men, and it's not a slight against the masculine energy. Why do you put anything down? Why do you control anything? You do it because you're afraid of that power that you're looking at, which is really a mirror of yourself, which means you're afraid of your own power, right? So that's not an energy that I would have identified with or owned up to, but I understand now that that's the whole masculine journey. And this is not about men and women, people. This is about our own inner stuff going on, and then it gets converted to the external. But so that's what it was, you know. I mean, I looked at you and I was like, oh my fucking God, excuse me, but oh my God, she's that beautiful. And then she hung up thinking I thought she was ugly. Like, oh my God, he didn't want to look at me. So why did I cry? Raquel Torino said, I cried because what I was looking at was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. It wasn't, and I'm not talking about the image of a woman's face, because this is what she did when she did that. When the camera came on, she did this. You know, like she would do like that. And I'm just sitting there just bawling, hungover. You know, I got alcohol coming out of my pores.
You didn't tell me that. I didn't even know you smoked that.
Oh my God, you knew that about me from day one. So, I mean, but the thing was, okay, so that, you know what that is? Look, I had no choice. And I'm talking energy here. Well, we'll keep it non-personal. I'm talking energy here. The goddess called me out. That's what happened. The goddess came to me when the goddess wanted to come to me, not when I asked her to, or when I chased her, or whatever the case. You know how many times in a year and a half I asked her, send me a freaking picture, at least send me a picture. And she'd be sitting in the car with these glasses on and daggy here, and she'd send me this picture. And she's like, there. And she'd think, oh, that'll take care of him for a while. She didn't realize how much beauty that represented. So what I was looking at, what I was crying about, to Raquel's point, is it's not about her being my beloved. It's about, as the individual goes, so goes the collective. So it was about the predominantly masculine energy looking at the feminine energy, the beauty of creation, because that is creation. That's creator. I'm a creation of that, right? And so
Can you talk by yourself for a minute? I'll be back in a minute.
You got to go to the loo. So, okay, so this is what we were getting back to, right? So that's like a year and a half. So she comes down about 2 weeks later. We spend 10 weeks together, and she has to leave. That was our first go round. And that was a trip. That's a whole other story. And the night before she left, it's the same thing that happened this time. It's so freaking weird. The patterns are the same. The cycles are the same. She's got to be at the airport at 4 o'clock in the morning. So we spend the whole day together talking. We're in Utah. And the whole entire time, I am like totally shadowed, totally 3D. Now, I'm Todd, but when it comes to the intimate part for the masculine to face and experience, I'm like, you know, I'm like sweating bullets, you know, like every time I'm in the room with her alone, I'm like, oh my God. So how can you go from this powerful, and this is from the masculine's perspective. I'm a sex machine. I'm a man. I'm a master. I know how to push buttons. And you get into this situation for 10 weeks where you're nothing but a little boy who's lost and doesn't know what the fuck to do, right? Right? So the night before she leaves, I'm talking about Utah. We had an intense, intimate experience that still did not include, we were technically, and as far as I'm concerned, celibacy, no intercourse. So there's no intercourse. But it was so intense. So intense. We sleep like 3 hours. I take her to the airport. We're at this airport 4:30 in the morning. I don't know where to park. The signs say you can't park. I just look at her, I hug her, and bye. That's how it ended. You know? It was like, what the fuck, right? I drive back, you know, that was it, right? So going back, and that's a vibration. That's an energy, as Morgan says, a copy is a copy is a copy. So what I want to tell you, what I started to tell you was, so now she came the first time. We go through a lot of ups and downs for Todd and Morgan, which has got to be reflective of the collective. Not ups and downs like we never let go. But it wasn't like human terms where we're like going, oh, I love you and I'm always going to be there. It wasn't like that. It was like, hey, she'd tell me like, hey, you know what? Go handle your shit. I'll see you whenever you get it together. Or I need to be alone. Or I'd say I need to be alone. And we would just like check out and take care of ourselves till I know so be true. So anyway, what happened was we were trying to get back together. I was stuck. I didn't have any money, of course. And I ended up in Connecticut at my friend's house. And, you know, I'm a Southern boy, right? Now, Morgan and I have done Herioscamos since the night we met. Now, Herioscamos is not cyber sex. It's energy. It's energy where you actually can exchange, depending on the depth of the connection, you can feel anything, right? And so we've always done that. We've always merged our chakras. And so on this particular night, I'm in Connecticut, and we're still we don't know it, but we're still 3-4 months away from coming together the second time. And that's when we got married and all that stuff. But at that point, you know, Todd's got no money. Morgan's like, the human's like, how's this going to happen? Todd's like offended and like, hey, you know what? Give me a chance. Believe in me. We're going through all this human stuff, right? So I did a show. It was January the 11th. It was 11/11, right? And we actually said goodbye. We hit this point, and the intensity of the energy got so intense, we said bye. It fucking hurts even thinking about it. So I remember this very distinctly. I got to remember like an elephant. So 2 days go by. I'm doing a show, and I remember going to a very good friend at the time, the closest person to me at the time, whenever we said goodbye. And I remember, and it's fucking snowing. I mean, it's like 2 feet of snow outside. It's at 12:30, 1 o'clock at night. I'm doing these radio shows at night. And I called my friend and I said, dude, I need to talk to you. I need a witness. I'm going to cry thinking about it. So I walk outside. I grab my whiskey. I got my gloves on. I got this mask on, and I walk outside. I got him on the phone. I can barely even hold my phone. It's so cold outside. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning, right? And I said, dude, we're done, but I need a witness. And I said, okay. He said, okay, I'm listening. I said, okay, I will not be with another woman in this incarnation. I will be celibate. I will be alone. If it's not her, I know the truth. If it's not her, I'm done. I mean, I don't care if it's the last day of my life when the truth comes out. And he's like, bless you, brother. I got you, right? So 2 days later, I'm doing a radio show really late at night, my time. And anytime I would go on, I would always, she's always with me, right? Even through thick and thin, she's always with me. I'm like, okay, I wonder what Morgan thinks. Okay, you know, I'm singing off key. She's going to be like, oh, you can't sing. Whatever it is, right? And so I'm sitting there doing this radio show, and at the very end of the show, I see this comment come in. She says, I love you, Todd Medina. I'm like, oh, you know. I'm like, oh, my God. So we end up reconnecting. There was nothing had to be said. Nothing had to be said. There was no, oh, I'm sorry. There was none of that. It was just like, I called her. Now I'm sitting on my friend's couch, downstairs in Connecticut. There's 2 feet of snow on the ground. She's got no heat. And I'm on this couch, and, you know, there's this part of the false masculine that expresses himself through false sexual power. And that's all I knew, man. All I knew was to get hard and say, let me show you what I got, baby. And of course, I've been talking to this woman for almost 2 years at this point, and she's like, you know what? I don't want to see that. Get the fuck out of my face. She didn't talk to me that way, but she's like, you know what? See you later, right? And so what ended up happening was we had this really special moment, and we started to merge, right? We started to merge, and it was the most intense Helioscamos merging that we ever fucking had. And I mean, I'm talking about, I could have, like, or she could have, either way, like, you know, poked ourselves in the forehead or anywhere on the body, and the other one felt it, right? But it was very internal, if you know what I mean, right? Now, my body, and this is all for a point. This is all for the masculine. I'm just putting it out there to go into the holy grid. So I'm like having this intense physical reaction, as you might can understand. I don't have to explain this to you. You're all adults, right? I'm having this intense physical reaction. I have wanted to expose myself to this woman for 2 years. Like, hey, I'm a pretty good looking guy for 50 something years old. I mean, hey, you know, I can be a sexy dude, whatever the case is. That's all I knew, though, right? So we're having this intense Helioscamos, like everything can be felt. The only thing that's not there is the actual physical body being there. And I'm like, oh my God. And this isn't cyber, and this isn't porn. This is straight up, non-physical, the real stuff, right? So something came in my head, that intuition that we all have, and it was like, she's gonna see what you got tonight. And so something like that happened. Like, something happened. I think we turned the camera on. We were just face to face. It was nothing else. And something said to me, she's gonna see you tonight, right? No, I did not send it. No, I did not, Sasha Grace. I did not. Believe me, I'd still be getting slapped if I did.
Never. Yeah.
So what ended up happening was, I don't know how it happened, but I said, hey, I'm going upstairs to my bed, and I'm going to show you. So anyway, I'm climbing up the stairs. She said, okay, I'll call you in 5 minutes or whatever. On camera. I said, it's going to be on camera. We're getting down. This is happening tonight. You're going to see what kind of man I am, right? And so I'm climbing up these stairs, and each step that I take, because there's no heat in the house, especially upstairs. You know, they say heat travels upward. Well, the cold, I mean, the higher you go, the colder it gets, right? It's so funny. So I'm climbing up the stairs, and I'm climbing the stairs, and the fear, and it wasn't even a human thing. It was something else. It was like, you know, you're gonna leave all this bullshit behind. You know, here you are in this incredible Helioscamos, energetic, non-physical experience where you're actually crossing time and space, and you're actually having this incredible experience. And now you're going to go upstairs, and you're going to hang on to this physical thing, like this distorted thing where you can show her how you know, whatever you are, you know. So I climb up the stairs. I go through this little room. I lay in the bed.
Can I just interject for a second?
Yeah, absolutely.
This is important because you're telling this story. I'm going to actually share what I'd been told. You wait till you see how big I am. You wait till you see.
You don't have to go that deep, okay?
Oh, okay. Sorry. I'll be quiet. Continue. So was the old 3D masculine talking?
Well, that's the point, you know. Yeah. And here I am, and this was brutal for me because here I am trying to make this magic happen with this woman on the other side of the world. I'm following this divine direction, Soulogy and pure love, and I didn't know about all this stuff, but I knew what was real, and I kept telling her, I know what the magic is. I lose it a little bit here, and I can get it, and the human part of her would come out sometimes, and it was just a very, very difficult thing because I was fighting the masculine's. I was hung up on what the woman thought of me. I was hung up on, am I satisfying her? What's the difference? What's the difference, in the psyche of a man? Whether it's, do I have a good enough job? Do I provide well enough for her? Do I satisfy her in the bedroom, or whatever the case is? It's the same thing. So I climb up these stairs, I get in the bed, and I have a pair of shorts on, and I ring her up, and I'm telling you, I'm shaking in my boots, and I'm like, what is going on here? I've waited for this moment for all this time, and here I am now, ready to come out. And I'm telling you, it was cold, which had nothing to do with my physical condition, but it was cold. It was so cold, I could have probably been mistaken for either, a neutered human being. I don't know how you want to put it. So, but that's what happened. And I won't go any deeper than that. She did what the feminine energy does. She didn't let me hide. She said, let me see. And I'm like, for 20 minutes, I'm like, it's very cold in here. It's cold. It's really, really cold. And then she just kept going and going and going. And so finally I did, and that's what that was really a big break for me, which again came back here recently at a higher expansive frequency. And I said to myself, you know what? This is me. This is me. I don't know where all that stuff went. It seems to have disappeared, but the whole point was, in her infinite wisdom, in that feminine infinite wisdom, she didn't let me hide at all. She said funny things like, where is it? she said things like, can I say that again? Is it always like that? But at the same time, she said, you know what, Todd? I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I love you. Period. Now we're talking two people, but this is actually.
I actually said more than that, Todd.
What else did she say?
I actually said to you, you're nothing. You've got nothing. You're a homeless hobo. You've got no money. You've got no car. It looks like you've got no, whatever you call those things. You're nothing. You're absolutely nothing. But I love you.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. That's exactly right.
So the biggest thing that he thought that he had to offer me wasn't even there. It was very cold in New York. It wasn't even there. But the biggest thing that he thought that he had to offer me was not even there for him. He had no car, no money, no house. He was a homeless hobo with what looks like a missing... You're laughing, but, it was important that he understood.
No, it was important. It was absolutely important. And that energy continued to revisit me, right? Now, in all fairness...
But this is the purity and innocence that I was talking about, that he had to understand that she wasn't, that the feminine isn't, we had experiences earlier than, well, not earlier than that, but we had experiences like, I could tell if Todd was coming at me with this 3D performance energy, I'd just like, I'm not interested in that. Todd had said that he had trained for years in yoni massage, and I said to him, "You come near me with that shit, and I'll knock your socks off." But I'm not a I'm not a what? I'm my own individual, and his job was to tune into our love, my body, his body, and get rid of all the programming. I wasn't interested in any programming at all, including a great big erection, which he kept telling me that he had. And yeah, the first time I saw it, I was like, where is it? But you know, this is sweet and innocent. This is sweet and innocent. This is, I don't know. I don't know what it is. This is so powerful. This is, I keep saying to Todd, she loves his softness as much as his hardness. He's not here to be a performer. She's not here to be a performer either. They're here to actually reach that pure level of love and then expand from that. And that pure level of love is, you know, the fears, the failures, the worst possible case scenarios. And we get shocked time and time and time again that, you know, as we've both delivered, you know, our worst case scenarios, our biggest failures, our biggest fears to each other, that we still just love each other. I think it was in the first 2 or 3 weeks, you know, Todd told me some of his biggest fears, his biggest failures, his most, I think at the time, most shameful things that he'd done. And I'm like, yeah, okay. And just kept talking. It's, you know, that's where we reach each other, at that absolute pure level that we can accept each other's 3D worst case scenarios, which really, in all honesty, when you go to somebody and say, I robbed a bank 3 years ago, not that Todd ever said anything like that to me, but, you know, I had an abortion or whatever, that the other person that truly loves you actually admires your ability to be that raw and that real and that authentic, that it doesn't get judged. And that's what we've done with each other from the very beginning.
That's true. And it's not always been easy, right?
Most of the time it has, but most of the time it has.
Every
now and again we've...
Go ahead.
Every now and again we've come up against things that, you know, we sort of rocked. I knew to walk away and say, okay, that's triggered me. Let me clear that in myself. I might not have done the same thing. It didn't look like the same picture. And sometimes it's the opposite extreme. But I knew to clear it myself first so I could then hold the space for him, which made it a lot easier. And so, you know, through our 3.5 years together, we've been doing this. You know, there might have been sometimes I presented things that triggered him. We knew, be quiet. You don't have to project on each other. Just go away, have your own space, sort it out in yourself, and then you come back together and 9 times out of 10, nothing needs to be said. It's gone. It wasn't even real to begin with.
Yeah, and I think that's the importance of it. You know, on the show this morning with Shannon, I can't say her name. It looks like Shannon to me, but it's not. You know, this whole thing with the divine union. The divine union is an energy. A relationship like ours might just be is a physical representation of that energy. That energy is not just a romantic energy. That energy is pure love, right? And so we're dealing with this duality, which really you can break down many different ways, but it's a feminine masculine duality within ourselves, in the external, in our relationships and all that. And so going through all this stuff, right, which was primarily, which is parallels the collective. And what I mean by that is she was awake. Women's intuition comes across this guy. He's got sacred wisdom too, this masculine energy, but he's very shadowed. He's done it the hard way, whatever you want to call it. And this dance begins and this journey begins. Because I remember after we had the Divine Conscious Union, we went on a little 4-day, you know, which would look like a honeymoon in the 3D in a cheap hotel, you know. But it was beautiful. And I remember there was a point And it's not about the content. I remember there was a point where she said, I need to tell you something. And it took her literally 20, 25 minutes to tell me what she needed to tell me. And if I had not gone through what I had gone through her, bearing my soul, bearing my vulnerabilities, bearing my darkest secrets, which was like pulling teeth, you know, I don't think I would have been able to really genuinely hold the space. I would have said something like, just get it out. I don't care. Let's get on to the next thing. But I really, really felt your pain. And I really felt how, I say this all the time now on the shows. It's time to get past the embarrassment and the shame and the blame and the self-deprecation, you know. But I remember that very distinctly, and I'll never forget that because I knew in that moment how liberated she would be just to get it off her chest. And I really believe that's, talking to Shannon this morning, Sinead, whatever her name is, she said that the feminine nurtures, it holds the space. It never leaves. It is, to me, it is the creator, or the masculine is creation. Like she said this morning, he's the thoughts. He puts it together. He puts the actions into motion. But getting back to the theme of this whole thing, in my opinion, it's the masculine. Don't be afraid. You're not going to die. That feminine energy within you and outside of you, it loves you anyway. Hard, soft, projecting, not projecting, holding space, not holding space. She's not going anywhere. She's
Shadowed,
there.
broken.
Yeah. It's Mother Gaia, Mother Goddess. Not going anywhere. Right? Shanine. Thank you, Jamie Williams. So, God, I mean, and I don't mean to say it this way, guys, men. It's not about stepping up, not for the feminine or the masculine. It's about coming out. We all showed up. Every fucking one of us showed up. We're all here. It's not about stepping up and I got to do this and I got to do that and all that. It's not. It's about coming out. Coming out is what we're doing right now. And I'm not giving us any props. I'm just saying it's not rocket science. It's about saying, you know what I did in 1967, I did this, this, and this, or this was done to me. Get it out, man. That's the beauty of what I saw happen this morning on the show with, I can't pronounce it because it's gone, but with her. But that was the beauty of it. The beauty of it was that's pure intel. That's real-time intel. Real-time intel is just saying, hey, here it is. Boom, it's gone. And the beautiful thing about that is it clears all that crap out. And as we've all heard and experienced, it creates space for truth, you know. Right? Are you frozen?
No, I'm not frozen.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Got me. Huh?
Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I don't know why I'm having problems. I got a direct Ethernet connection.
So you can hear me, but you can't see me.
I can see you. You're just moving very slow. Yeah. No, are you kidding me? You're fucking gorgeous. This is difficult on the human being separated from you.
It is. It is. It's difficult on the human, but there's this higher self knowing that we're not separated at all. But yeah, the human, I miss you already.
I know. Absolutely, but you know, it's a little bit harder than the human. I mean, I'm going to pull this thing off of me if I don't be careful.
Pull what off? What?
Oh. What? So
have you got any closing comments, Mr. Medina?
I know, yeah, I do have a closing comment. Look, you know, for a long time, you used to tell me, because I used to come out, and I remember coming out with this video, like right after I met you, and I was like, you know, I'm not a man. I'm not a woman. I'm not this sexual connotation or that sexual connotation. I am not that. I am not a human being, basically. And then you would tell me for a couple of years, you would say, you know what? There is a reason that I incarnated Todd as a woman. There's a reason you incarnated as a man. And I fought that, like F that, and so, and a few months ago, whatever, a year ago, whatever, whenever I came to that point, I and really probably more now than ever, right? Does that make sense? Is own it. I'm a man. I represent the masculine energy, not masculine energy. I represent a balanced masculine incarnation with no holds barred with his masculinity or his femininity. That's how I would put it. So, having said that, you asked me, is there something I'd like to say? Yes. I'd like to say to what is predominantly the male incarnations, it could be a feminine incarnation with a predominantly male energetic, energy. But it's not about stepping up. It's about showing up. And something happened this morning on that show, and it's not a coincidence. She talked about feeling. And what is the big thing for me and for my brothers, primarily that masculine energy? They don't want to talk about their feelings. And I know that sounds cliche, and I know it sounds easy, but it's more than that. It's about everything that happened, whether you were molested when you were a little boy, whether you were embarrassed on the playground or beat up by a bully, or the journey you had with the what you perceived as the feminine energy that beat your ass and wasn't fair to you and judged you and all this crap, just get it out. Just say, hey, this is what I felt. I told Morgan, I was like, you know what? Women have beat the shit out of me my whole life, and that's where the healing starts. Just say it. And I'm saying this to my brothers today because it's time. It's time, right? She's taken it to a certain point, and now we can get to that same place, so we both can start this dance and continue higher. And this is a place the universe has never been, because it does involve physical matter and the physicality. And all it takes is just saying, hey, you know what? I was with my woman last night, and oh my God, she's so fucking hot, and I couldn't get it up. But you know what? We ended up having this beautiful, incredible experience, and all this sacred geometry and light language appeared on her back. And then I looked down between her legs, and there was this big cavern, and these grandmothers were talking to me. This is who we are. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you. What do you got to say?
I miss you.
I miss you. I miss you. Hmm. I can't believe I have an Ethernet direct cord, and I'm getting this. It's like I'm on it's like I'm on Wi-Fi that's not working. Okay, well, we'll be together soon. That's for sure. That's for sure. Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. So, what time is it? Oh, it's early. Is it that early? It's only 5 o'clock here. I'm going to go get something to eat. I'll call you later. You going to be there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. God, you're fucking beautiful. I'll see you later. See you.
All right.
See you, everybody. Bye-bye. Wait. Don't go nowhere. Oh, yeah. I have bad signal.
Why? How can you have a bad signal? So is it off?
No, it's not off. Don't talk yet. No. It's not even letting me do anything. How weird. No, something's not right. No, hang on.